For anyone just joining us, just setting up the live stream, ready to go. Beautiful. And then now I'm just going to share into other places before we get going on our live stream this week. Rock and roll, everyone. G'day everyone, welcome crew. This is Zoe, the video confidence coach, here, ready, and I do sound a bit croaky, and I will explain that in a sec, but I want to say welcome everyone to the stream for this week. We are a little bit early, but that's because I'm just probably making up for the fact that I wasn't here last week. So I just wanted to quickly clear up a few things just before... Yes, that's going to happen. Before I continue. So, for any of those, maybe you didn't notice, or maybe you did. That's okay. I wasn't here last week because I died a little bit, and I don't mean in the metaphorical die. I mean, oh, thank you, Deb. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Deb from Deb Developing Excellence in Business. I do remember what Deb stands for, Deb. Has just shared the live stream, and I want to thank you for that. So, for those who maybe didn't notice, we didn't have a live stream last week, and we broke our streak of seven weeks, because last week I wasn't feeling too crash hot, and after about 12 hours of consistent pain, the doctor's usually like, all right, go to the hospital, get this seen out. So I went to the hospital thinking like, all right, I don't feel that well, I'm going to get started. No. And then, proceeded to get sick. So imagine falling asleep on the Monday and not getting up until like the Friday evening and just losing the week, because just how sick you feel. And even though I'm not at 100% right now, I'm doing a lot better than I was, and apologies for any of you watching in the hashtag restream squad, but there will be a little bit of coughing throughout this stream, because yes, I will be coughing a little bit because I'm still not at 100% yet, but I wanted to make sure that I get you to the live stream and make sure that I'm here and ready to roll and ready to rumble. So I'll welcome everyone in. And I'll have a look at my little notes here that tell me what to do. I wanted just to welcome everyone for joining on the stream, and thank you to everyone who's popped on so nice and early, because I see there's a fair few of you that have popped on nice and early, and we have shared out to a few different groups, and we just want to make sure that we welcome everyone to the crew. So if you have any questions about video production or even podcasting, I have to remember that's in the scope of things now, podcasting now, that you let us know in the comments below, of course, and we'll make sure that we answer them as we do. And I just want to make sure that I welcome everyone and comments by name. And today's topic is going to talk about the judging. Or my title that I was going to go for on this live stream was, "Why are you judging me?" But then I realized that could be misconstrued in multiple different ways, and some of you may not appreciate that as the title of the video. So I wanted to just go with how to deal with judgment, or the fear of being judged, because for a lot of people out there, and I imagine this is also the case for you as well, that you may not want to get out there and do videos because of that fear of being judged by people who view your videos, potential customers, customers that you already have, or either being judged by people that don't like you, and your fear of the backlash that comes from that, and the fear of being judged. So I wanted to get on that today and talk and make that clear and talk out a few things. And I want to invite you to invite, share, very much like Deb has already done, like the video, and let me know, if there's anyone out there that you know of that would be really interested to learn about video for their business or even for their hobbies, or they want to learn how to do podcasts, then share this live stream and let them know that I can answer their questions now. And if not, share the restream too, because they can probably listen to that as well. Yes, we already have some comments. G'day, Cassie. Yes, I'm doing all right. And thank you, Deb, so much about making me feel 100%. Thank you for that. Yes, I am. The best way to put it is, it's very much like a cold, and because my immune system's down, and it has been for a very long time, it's very much like that first couple of days of, when you're about to get sick, that feeling of your bones ache, everything's a little bit harder to do, you feel you're catching in your throat, like a couple of days before you get sick. Just imagine that type of feeling, but for 2 months. So that was the type of feeling I was having for 2 months, where I was about to get sick. And thank you so much for the share, Cassie, where I just felt like, okay, something's going to set me off. I'm going to get sicker. It's going to happen. And then when I went to hospital, about 12 hours, because I was experiencing a lot of pain. And for anyone who's had surgeries, or anyone who's had cancer treatment at all, you'll know that sometimes, no matter how much you clean, no matter how much you do your best to keep everything, safe, hygienic and everything, infection still occurs. And for me, and because we're dealing with maggots, the infection rate is a little bit higher. So the infection rate on my inside, outside infection rate, perfect, fine. Inside infection rate, not so much, because my insides don't like me as much. So the pain was a bit too intense, around a 7 or 8. G'day, Catherine, and g'day, Yarra Street Quartermasters. How are you guys going on the live stream tonight? So with that pain, it was about I was about sitting around a 7 or 8 and bumping up to a 9, and they're like, okay, it's been about 12 hours of consistent pain, something is horribly wrong, let's go and deal with that. So then they dealt with that by giving me morphine and checking for bleeding and all that stuff, but mainly the morphine. And then when I got back home, I'm like, it's happened. And then I went to sleep on the Monday, and then I've just mentally, I've lost that time in my head, but also my partner's trying to probably feed me and make sure I'm alive, but in regards to doing anything, I just lost that time completely. And then on Friday evening, I woke up and be like, okay, I feel well enough to actually get up properly without being in a whole haze, and just feeling all right. And then here we are. So that's why I lost last week, because I didn't even realize that it was Tuesday until Friday night. So yeah, it wasn't realized that Tuesday happened until it was Friday night. So I thank you, all of you, for sticking around and not just being like, Zoe, oh, you're not doing it this week, goodbye. But I want to thank you all for joining us on the live stream. And we will definitely be talking about being judged, and the fear of being judged, and how to, again, it's not something that you can quell within you, but it's something that you can overcome when you're doing videos online. But one thing that was brought up to me not last week, thank you for the love, guys, but the week before, was something that at the time actually got me quite angry, but now that I've had a bit of time between it, I'm not as angry as angry as I was. And this isn't specifically about judgment, but I thought I'd let you guys know this, and I'll delve a little bit more about this, and then we can talk a little bit more about combating with the fear of being judged. The thing that got me so angry was within a period of about 2 days, I had 3 different people tell me that the persona I had with them in the conversation and persona on camera were very different, but negatively so. And I'll explain this in a second. And they just didn't see the levels being the same person, that on camera I was a completely different person to when I was with them in a conversation. And one of them was making a point about how I looked, about how I acted, and a few other things, which I kind of disregarded what he said. Yes, it was a he. But it was just a bit strange and out of the ordinary, because it was sent to me at 3 a.m. on a Monday, 3 a.m. on a Sunday. And you're thinking, are you really thinking about me that much on like 3 a.m. on a Sunday? But I wanted just to clarify something quickly for anyone watching, or anyone, which I'm sure most of you guys, if you've met me in real life and me on camera, the reason that there is possibly a disconnect is because when I'm on camera, or even when you're on camera, you're usually there by yourself. You're creating your own energy, you're bouncing off your own energy, and you're working with a lens that's supposed to be a human. So the lens is the camera. So what you're doing, if you were having a regular conversation with a person, you would be vibing off their energy. You would be matching their energy levels. You'd be matching their tones. You'd be matching their inflections to try and, keep that energy going of the conversation going. And when, say, for example, when I went to a couple of events, when I was talking to people, I was keeping up my energy, but I was sitting there listening to their questions. I was listening to their stories. I was listening to how their day went. And I'm sitting there doing my best to absorb the information and learn as much as I can from them. And then I get told, oh, your energy is really different. Like, you seem like a completely different person when having a conversation with you as opposed to video. And at first I was a bit like, okay. And then someone again said the same thing, and then a third thing happened, and it just got me quite angry. And I don't mean angry and I'm gonna rage Hulk everything, blah, 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 but angry in a way that, oh, thank you, Catherine, you are lovely on camera and in real life, thank you for that. But I wanted to make it clear that when I'm on camera, or when you guys are on camera as well, that there is going to be a difference between you on camera and you in a conversation, because you are dealing with a human in the mix. You are dealing with another person. When you're working with a client, you are there to serve them, you're there to help them, but you're there to listen and to learn and to adapt for them. And that's the same thing that I do with almost every conversation I'm having, where I'm sitting there to learn and adapt. And even when I'm conducting a workshop, even though I'm the one up there talking and blah 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 and demonstrating and stuff, I'm eagle-eyeing everyone in the room to make sure that A, that they understand that, B, is it clear, does it look like they have a question, are they absorbing the information I'm giving them. I'm actively working in that room and keeping an eye on the faces, and it got me angry because I felt like, are you saying I'm not being genuine? I'm under everything. I'm peeling back all the layers of the onion. Shrek. Peeling back all the layers of the onion. I really thought that people were thinking I wasn't being genuine. That the energy that I put out on camera isn't necessarily who I am. Therefore, I'm not being genuine with my audience. And that actually offended me and got me quite angry, because I'm doing my best in the health stances that I am to be able to connect with you guys and actually serve you to the best of my ability. Of course, I'm not going to be at my A game all the time. I'm not going to be healthy like today all the time. But I'm going to do my best to give out the energy that you guys need to keep engaged. I'm going to do my best to make sure that I, answer your questions, that I keep it to a level and to a satisfactory, best way to put it, satisfactory level for you guys. So you're not just watching me, hey guys, there's live stream, answer your questions. If you had to listen to an hour of that, you'd be bored out of your damn minds. Now, of course, that's not what I'm going to do to you guys, and I wouldn't want to do to anyone else. So that's why I bring up the level of energy when talking to a one-on-one camera, when talking with that, because I'm not bouncing off anyone's energy. And if I keep up my energy, I end up keeping up your interest and your energy levels too. And that's the same thing you would apply to your own videos. Deb's mentioned here, so you're authentic at all times, as we love you as you are. Ignorance. Thank you so much for that, Deb. And Catherine's mentioned it's probably them protecting their own fears, keep being you. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Oh, I feel so loved. And I want to just bring that up to you guys, mainly because I had 3 people kind of bring that up to me within a very short space of time. Very much like when you want to buy a red car, you start seeing them all the time. And that's probably why it was brought like that. But I want to thank you both for your lovely comments and all the hearts. And I really wanted to thank you because at the time I was really angry, and at the time I was like, okay, the next, live stream, I'm going to like really take him down a notch, even though I'm not mentioning them by name, but I'm really going to take it down. And then of course I've had the time to think and being like, okay, that's no longer a really major thing for me, but I'm not going to change my energy levels, and I'm not going to change my enthusiasm for what I do for you guys just because a couple of people think that's not being me. Well, yes, of course, when I'm in a conversation, when you're there to listen, when you're there to learn, of course you're going to have a different energy level than when you're presenting to a camera, that you're not bouncing off any face, you're not bouncing off any human energy in the room, you're bouncing off a piece of electronic. So you're going to do your best to work with that. So what I'm going to do is, we're already at 10 past already. That was surprising. And thank you, Cassie, for the share. I hope, your guys like that stuff. But what I want to get to today, making sure that we revert back, that we're going to be talking about why are you judging me? And I guess that's a good segue from what I was talking about before, where about being judged or feeling like you're being judged, you can react in interesting ways. Like, for example, like after I heard those type of comments and got through all the layers, I thought people were judging me because, whoops, my notes are gone. They thought I wasn't being genuine, and I felt like that's what they were saying. They probably actually weren't saying that. They probably were just, commenting on, you in real life, you feel different to when you are on camera because it's a different environment. It's like seeing someone at a wedding and then seeing them later on the street. Yeah, there's going to be a different vibe because at a wedding, there's, you're chilling. It's a happy occasion. There's wine. There's like all that stuff. And then seeing them, on their way to work at like 6, at 8 a.m. on a Monday morning, yeah, there's going to be a different vibe because it's a different time and place. Ooh, Jürgen Strass has posted something. And that's the type of thing that I felt I was being judged, but I didn't react poorly because I just decided to, let it sit, put it in the library of my mind and then bring back to it now. And now it seems like a distant memory, and I've thought about it and it makes more sense to me. But I want to recommend and say that if anyone, that would need to learn about how to deal with the fear of being judged or, are afraid of getting on camera for that exact reason, feel free to share, post and like this live stream, and then they can ask their questions as we go along. And as I said, I am perfectly healthy. So if you hear the coughs, don't panic. But as I was mentioning before I went on my little tirade earlier, my title for this live stream was going to be, why are you judging me? Because I don't want to say that's the main talk that we give ourselves when we're worried about what people will say to us. But when you're creating a video and when you're getting in front of that camera, as humans, we like to create stories in our heads, but we also like to think of the process going forward. So say, for example, when you're at the grocery store and you're buying ingredients for various dishes, you think when you pick up a bag of pasta, you think about the multiple different dishes you would be creating along with the stuff that you're buying, as well as the stuff that you already have at home. So you're going through that process even quickly, even really quickly in your mind, just going through the process of, okay, this is a bag of pasta. Okay, I could make I can also make this. You're going through the process, either subconsciously or not, because as humans, we're not process-driven machines. We're not robots here, but we like to at least have a goal in mind. We have an accomplishment. We know where we want to go. And that's the same thing when creating videos, when creating any piece of content for your social media, or, when you're doing your job at work, for most of us, I imagine we're working on a particular project, or we're working on, completing something. I know that sounds very broad, but we're there to complete something. So we want to make sure that we go through that process either ahead of time, or this thing that we're working on, there actually is an end to it, and it's going to be done and complete and finished. And that's the same thing that you're doing when you're creating videos. You are going through your mind of, you don't want to get in front of the camera because of the fears that we're about to discuss, but you're also going through that process in your mind of, okay, what's the process? I, film this video. I end up stuffing up. I end up looking like a complete fool, and I don't even notice. And then I post up the video online. People make a mockery of me. People, question my professionality, and I don't get clients. I end up I don't get any money. I forego on my mortgage, and I'm out on the street. Now that's a very long process with a lot of jumps in between. But some people, and at times, some of us have actually thought that way. When going through or about to embark on something, you think about all the negative processes and the negative ways. There could be 0.00001% chance of that ever occurring, or that, reality ever occurring from posting a video. But you're going to think about that process, and you're going to think about how that can happen. G'day, Candle Collective. And you're going to think about that process, and you're going to think, okay, oh my God, I'm going to be I'm going to be judged by anyone and everyone, and they're going to hate me, and I'm going to get thrown rotten tomatoes on me at the street, and you work yourself up. And even if you're not a nervous type, or the type of person to get inherently nervous, people that do have that fear of getting in front of the camera and actually speaking to the camera as if it is a human have that instant fear of, okay, what about, people are going to judge me, and it's going to divulge into that spiral, and you're going to end up not doing the video just because of the anxiety and the stress that it gives you. Now, the thing that, if you've ever been to any of my workshops, feel free to comment below if you have, you'll know that we do a lot of focus on the ego, and focusing on when you're doing a video, yes, you're the one in front of the camera, yes, you're the one talking, but it's not for your benefit. If it was for your benefit, why would you even do it? If it's purely for your benefit and your ego and your narcissism, well then, there are easier ways of going about it. There are easier ways of doing it. Looking in a mirror, perhaps. But when you're doing a video, you're doing it for the sake of your customer. You're doing it for the benefit of your potential customer, of your current customer, of your future customers. You're doing it for their benefit, so they can solve a problem. They can see how you are the best fit for them, how they are not going to make a mistake with the guidance that you give. So as humans, we don't want to make mistakes. Mistakes in the olden times, Neanderthal days, meant death. As in, if you made a mistake by miscalculating that ledge, and you need to get over to the other side to not be eaten by a pack of wolves, and you missed and you died. That's a mistake. You died. Nowadays, we don't have to worry too much about that in regards to the life and death situation, but we still inherently don't want to make mistakes, because there's a lot of quote-unquote negative feelings associated with making those mistakes. So those mistakes could easily be attributed to, you don't want to feel shame, you don't want to feel guilt, you don't want to feel angry, you don't want to feel sad, like all these negative emotions from making a mistake. Now, the reason I say quote-unquote negative and negative is because it's a label that society has given negative and positive emotions. It's okay to feel what you're going to feel. But think about your process, and think about how you got to that feeling. Do you feel sad because people are going to judge you for your video? Well, there's a lot of hops, skips, and jumps to get to that conclusion. Is it something that's going to work for you? Yeah. So that's why I always bring up, when you're about to do a video, always think about, okay, who am I doing this for? Pick out a potential customer, or pick out a customer that you have, that you really love working with, that adores you and adores your business and adores what you do. Focus on them and think about, I'm talking directly to you. and it should come out a lot more naturally. Of course, not everyone is going to be automatically think, okay, I'm going to bust out and be the most professional video creator I'm ever going to be. That's not the case, but it gets you over that little hump of, okay, am I worried about, like, for example, how I look? I've got a bit of lipstick on my dress because I coughed there just earlier. You guys don't care. You're here for the message. You're here to be served. You don't care what I look like most of the time. Well, except for strange people that message me at 3 a.m. on a Sunday, but they don't count because I still don't entirely know why they sent their message. But you watching right now, you don't care the way I look. You care about what I can do to help you, what I can do to serve you. And that's the same thing you would be doing with your customers. Yes, that could be to entertain them. Yes, it could be to inform them of something, of, latest prize, latest change to your business, an update to the industry, what have you. But there is an ultimate goal there. So how are you serving your customer? Are you serving them by thinking, by stressing about how people you may not even like are going to judge you? Hopefully not. And if that's the case, correct yourself. Who are you focusing on? You're focusing on your customer. Are you helping them by thinking this way? Probably not. Then think about that. So we'll move on to the next little area that I have in my notes, and then we'll go for a little chill break, and then we'll carry on for the rest of the hour. And as a lot of people have mentioned, and I've seen them in real life, had calls and such, people see the live streams and go, oh, I love that you're on the live stream, Zoe, but I just can't watch for the full hour. And I'm like, that's okay. That's what the live streams are for. That's what the restreams are for. If you can't catch this on the time that it goes out, watch a little bit of it later, skip through a couple of sections, see what catches your fancy. Because of course, like many of my workshops, and I will always recommend to you guys to do regularly, is I'm going to be repurposing this content in the future. Thank you, Catherine. Bless the block and report options. Yes, that is definitely true, and that is definitely what I did with that weird gentleman who I haven't even met in real life. And he just, found me and then decided to, message my business and be like, hey, you look fat and you have a terrible sense of style and all these other things. And I'm like, cool, thanks, bye. Didn't find anything of it useful. It wasn't really helpful in any way. So, yeah. So I just left it. I know that sounds a little mean, but yeah, I don't need to acknowledge him and I don't need to acknowledge his presence, so I didn't. So focusing on the aspects of fear. So I know fear is a nice, lovely topic to talk about, but the reason that we have these fear of being judged, and as I mentioned a little bit before, was this fear that is brought up in your head. It's not an actual fear or response to, someone jumping out of the shadows or, gnashing of teeth. It's not an instinctual bodily fear. It's a fear in the brain. So then your body responds accordingly by possibly making yourself smaller, pulling yourself away from whatever, the camera or the phone. You're just thinking, I don't want to do this, because you instantly brace for impact. You brace for things to go wrong. And the reason that this happened is because of an overactive brain. Your brain is thinking really hard, like I said, about the process that you're spiraling down, all the negative process. One follows the way after another until it reaches your ultimate fear. And your ultimate fear could be anything, but getting to that negative space where it just keeps spiraling down and down and down and down, and you're just not ready. So okay. But that fear that you're feeling about everything turning negative is a primal fear. It's something that we're built in as humans because, as I said, we don't like to make mistakes. We don't want things to break, and we don't want things to go wrong, because if things go wrong, we die. Of course, that no longer happens nowadays, and the mistakes and changes that you're making are, 10,000-fold more than any of our ancestors previous to this. We're making more decisions than we were, more daily decisions in general. I know it's a statistic, but it's not a claimed one. We're making more daily decisions more than anyone else in our previous ancestors' history. And I think I forgot what point I was making with that. But the reason why that fear of judgment still happens is because that wanting, that clarity of not wanting to make a mistake, and then you're just going to keep spiraling down and down until you're safe, until you're no longer making anything. You're in your comfort zone, you're in your little bubble, and there's no way that anything or anyone can harm you. And of course, that makes sense for most of your life. That can make sense for a lot of things. But if you want to achieve something new, if you want to achieve a new goal for your business, or achieve a personal goal, a health goal, whatever goal that may be, even for your business, you're going to have to step outside that comfort zone. You're going to have to tiptoe outside that comfort zone and go a little further than you're willing to go to make sure that you serve your customer and you help your customer. Because remember, you're not doing this whole shebang for yourself. You're doing it for your customers, your potential customers. You're doing it to help them. So the fear of being judged usually stems from that initial fear of not wanting to make a mistake, or when it comes to video, not to be seen making a mistake. So when other people see you, very much like when we were young and when we were growing up, if you made a mistake of, pooping your pants when you're in kindergarten. For overseas listeners, that would be about age 3 to 4. So say, for example, you pooped your pants. Yes, it's a mistake. Yes, it's a bit embarrassing. But for the adults, they're just like, okay, this happened. All right, let's deal with it and move on. Sometimes they might make fun of you as a little child, and that is not a good thing. But you also feel like, okay, should I be concerned? All right, I'm not too worried. Okay, fine. Everything moves on. But that fear of being judged by your peers, people in the industry that you look up to, or people that are at the same level if you're a little bit higher, judging by people in your industry, judging by your friends, by your family, by your customers, by your potential customers or your future customers. Being judged in that way can send a lot of fears down your spine, because if you were judged, or, in the olden days, if you were pushed out of a society, a group, or your tribe, you would die. There's a high chance you would die. We don't want to get pushed out of our groups, of our, cliques, of our little societies, because there's, that inherent, gut feeling that, oh no, I'm going to fall sick and die because no one's going to be there to protect me. Well, that's the same thing about being judged. Your fear of what people's negative observances or connotations of you, because you're worried what people are going to do to you. Are they going to, they dislike me now? Okay, are they going to hit me over the head with a club? Again, probably not in this day and age. And if they are, we have police for that. But, and I want to preface this by a but, that fear is still warranted, because out there, yes, there is a very high possibility that you're going to be, judged. And when I say judged, I mean like you're going to get comments, or you're going to get backlash. Now that's another comment entirely, which I've done a live stream on before. But getting that comment of, you put your heart and soul into a video, maybe it's a 2-minute video of explaining why you do what you do. You're really passionate. You can really connect. You can see the smile in your face as to why you do what you do. And you see the connection in the audience, and you really love it. You edited it. You put some text on screen, put some lovely effects on it. Looked beautiful, done. You posted it. And you got a lot of good feedback from your family and friends and a couple of people in your industry, and you really like it. And then, someone you barely even know, or someone you don't even know, comments below saying, oh, this is crap, or, says you're terrible, or any of those things. And then that fear of being judged, and that fear of being like, oh, all of this. Yes, you're being boosted by your family, your friends, and your business associates. All these people are pushing you up and pushing you up. But it can take that one negative comment to bring you down and realize, oh, why have I... Thank you for joining us, Catherine. Why have I done this? Okay, that's inherent fear. And everyone who's a content creator out there of any caliber, be it, beginners all the way to experienced pros, will tell you that there are going to be people out there. There's going to be people like that are called trolls, they're called haters, people that are just going to, judge you harshly because they can. Now, for some people, it's not about the backlash or the haters or what people actually make in comment. It's the judging of people who don't make a comment. Of, say, for example, there's been videos I've seen out there with like 100, 200 views, but no comments. And people feel like they're being judged because, oh no, people have watched my content, but then haven't interacted with me in any way. Or because I've done one video and none of my clients have, instantly gone on the phone and called me right there and then, I feel like I'm being judged. Am I doing badly? Am I doing poorly? What do you guys think of me? I'm being judged. Now, that's not necessarily the case. Of course, for you guys probably now, as well as everyone else, social media is a constant rolling bandwagon. Thank you, Philippa, and thank you for joining us about Good Guidelines. It's a constant bandwheel of content being produced by anyone and everyone around the planet. Not everyone's going to have the time to comment unless you're being, thought-provoking and probing, or you're building up your community around you. So it's okay if people don't make comments right away. Someone will make a comment eventually, and if you keep going as you go, you'll build up your community and build up your allies. But don't stress if that fear of being judged is still sitting in your stomach, because again, we want to make sure that we don't get hurt. We don't make a mistake in any way. So that fear is okay, but just make sure that you push it through logically in your head and think about, okay, I'm thinking about how people are going to perceive me, and I'm a bit concerned about how it's going to act. Okay, you're putting that through your head. Okay, that fear of being judged, okay, well then who's going to judge me? Well, people I like, people I prefer, and that's okay. And that's what you should be aiming for when you do videos and when you do podcasts as well, is that you're doing it for the benefit of the consumer. You're doing it for the benefit of the people that consume your content, not for your ego, for them. So it doesn't matter if they judge you. You're helping them. They should be happy. I know that sounds a little dark, but that's working through that and making that a little clearer. But I just want to take this little break, take a little bit of water, and just ask how you guys are going through the live stream. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and anything that you do. We do have 2 more sections to go, and I'll let you guys know. And we have about 20 minutes left of the live stream. But I'm going to make sure I don't cough. But yes, I've been a very busy bee, getting back into the swing of things, back in from being sick and actually having a couple of objectives. So at the moment we have, I'm just going to check quickly. Yes. So at the moment we have some events. So what I was just checking on the screen. So for anyone who's watching the Facebook or the YouTube live, I'm just going to quickly show the screen, where you'll be able to see that I have got some events coming up. So on the 18th of November, I have the Lights, Camera, Edit video workshop for business. So that is going to happen on the 18th of November, and that's a NAB Village event that's happening at lunchtime. And then on the 20th of November, so 2 days later, after that, we have the Video Made Easy workshop. So one that a lot of you guys have really enjoyed, and we're going to put on, and later, obviously, these ones are going to happen, in Jan, March, and May of 2020. But those ones aren't on sale yet until the first one's done. But these workshops are, really sought after. A lot of people really enjoy them and say, oh, I can't, I didn't make this one. We're going to make sure that we have that available for people to make it too. So those workshops are great, and they're going to be on our Facebook as well as our Eventbrite. So if you are interested at all and you're worrying and think about your price range, I haven't sold any tickets yet just because I've only just put them up yesterday and today, and I haven't really put any advertising or pressure involved yet, and that's okay. And we'll also be running an event for the Geelong Small Business Festival. I'm still in that mode, actually. We're going to be running an event, a seminar, if you will, for the GSBD, so the Geelong Small Business Development. And we'll be doing that on the 12th of November at the NAB as well. So we've got a lot of events coming up, and we'll have a lot of events in the works and rolling through. And we'll be doing that a lot this year. So we'll have a lot of events for the rest of October. I forgot to mention that on the last Wednesday, I'm just going to check what date that actually is. So the 30th of October. No, wait. Correction. The 28th of October, we have a Start My Podcast workshop and recording. This is going to be a workshop that we hold at, we're going to be holding it here, like where I am right now, at Creative Geelong, and we're going to be running it for Creative Geelong as part of their 12th of November is looking good for you. Great. We'll look to see you there, Philippa. And we'll be running those workshops. We'll be running those workshops monthly, where we help you get your podcast started. Like, we actually record a trailer for your podcast. So we get you started from not knowing a whole lot to recording your first trailer for your podcast. So you're ready to go, and you've got that, footing ready to go, and you'll get started and you'll do great at podcasting. So we're putting that together, and we will be putting that together. So it's already together. We're just putting it on the Eventbrite and the Facebook now. But that should be all ready to go. And then you can book that in, and we'll be promoting it heavily throughout the rest of the month and throughout the year. But I'm not sure about you guys, but as soon as it hits December, we've just not pushed any workshops, because December is December. And everyone's going to, of course, be quite intense in regards to the work that they're going to be doing. We're putting together some stuff for Business in Heels, and we're putting some stuff together. We haven't finalized anything yet, so I can't really give you that yet, but we're putting a few things together, because over the December and January period, Business in Heels experiences the same thing we do, where we get a lot of people coming in contact with us because they can spend that time no longer working in their business, but they can work on their business, because, clients aren't usually hassling during that time for a lot of businesses. And they have that time to focus on themselves and what they want to accomplish. So we'll be putting that together, hopefully sooner rather than later. I just need to get off my ass and do it. But for anyone who's part of the Business in Heels family, you'll be looking forward to seeing and possibly seeing my face over the December-January period. But those are the stuff that's happening at the moment with a video confidence coach, and all the stuff that we've got going on. A lot of workshops happening. So if there's anything that you want to, actually actively do some work in person, then feel free to just check out our Eventbrite and our social media, because we'll be promoting a lot of events. Back into Oog. All right. So for anyone who's just joined us, feel free to invite, share, or tag any of your friends or family, or even a business associates who need to get on camera. They have a story to tell, and it's a compelling one, and they just need to get in front of the camera. So feel free to invite them on the live stream, and we'll have a chat. And if you have any comments, very much like Philippa, Deb, and Cassie, just comment them down below, and I'll make sure to answer them as we go along. But we're going to focus back onto the fear of being judged and how to combat that. So we've already discussed about how the fear of being judged stems from that fear of making mistakes, but also that fear of backlash from people online. And we discussed about how it actually is happening and how to logically push it away. And when I say logically, I mean, how we can think through it with our minds, not to the point where it diminishes completely within our bodies, but to a point where we can push past our comfort zone and continue doing the video, the podcast, continue doing what we need to do, and not be held back by that fear of what other people will think of us. But now I need to focus on why you're doing the video, why you're doing the podcast. And as I said, it's for your customer, for your client, for those potential customers and clients. But I want you to focus on that your customer needs a solution, not a stereotype. Now, let me follow that up, shall I? When people are coming to a business, they're usually coming to a business because they need a problem solved. And that's usually the same thing as well with hobbyists or people who are in a video. Yes, you could be doing a video for purely entertainment value, but people are there because they want something. They want to, find out more about you and your life. They want to learn more about where you live and how you do live and what your life is like. They want to be entertained. For business people, when your customers or people that view your content, they want to get out of it, they want a solution, they want their problem solved, or they want to feel more enlightened, they want to feel more intelligent, they want something from you, but they want a solution and they don't want a stereotype. They don't want, they don't want you as the presenter, as the business owner usually, the guys that I talk to mainly. They don't care about how, they don't care about your beauty. They don't care about how you look. They care about, hey Les, nice to see you. They care about how you're going to serve them. And unfortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately, because for most people, it's not a case of me, I want everything. But when engaging with, say for example yourself, you're needing a, pair of shorts, for example. Yes, you could go to the larger companies, but you're going to do a quick Google and then maybe find the type of maybe brand you want, and then see what content that they can push out for you, and then see what makes their shorts different. What makes their shorts different? Like, why should you care? Go through a couple of bits of content. And if you can find a video or something of a person sitting there, maybe standing with the shorts, actually talking to you, hey, you're not really going to care about how they look. Of course, you're going to care about how the shorts look, but you're going to maybe look a little bit deeper past maybe the shorts, they look all right on him. Maybe they'll look all right on me. People are going to want that information and how the shorts look. They're not really going to care too much about what the person at the other end has to say, because the person, you, want to buy the pair of shorts. They just want to know, hey, is it going to, break when I sit down? What is the quality like? Is it going to stretch with me? Is it going to, stain easily? That's the basic stuff that you want to know, because you as a consumer want to know the solution. And as a provider of that solution, you as the business owner, as the person who's actually running the video, you have to keep in your mind and keep thinking that yes, I'm here to serve. I'm here to provide a solution for you, and I'm here to help you guys. I'm not here as a stereotype of my industry, of my race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality. I'm not a stereotype of whatever, people perceive of me. I'm here to serve, and I'm here to help you. And that's the mantra that you should be, not constantly, but mantra that you should be able to give yourself on a regular basis if you ever feel like if you're ever stuck about doing content. And to tell you the truth, I've had to do that myself a lot of times. There was a period of time earlier this year when I was going through treatment, and I was just feeling so sick. I was feeling sick. Quite badly. And of course, being sick, people can forgive me for that. But for me, it was that, I want to say fear of people seeing me that way. And for example, for a lot of influencers out there, people might want to see how their cancer journey goes, or how their journey with being sick or dealing with a chronic illness goes. Some people are quite happy to present that to the world, but for me, I don't really like that. Not because I don't want to be honest with you guys, but because I was afraid of seeing myself as weak. And it wasn't about the judgment of any of my, potential customers. It wasn't about the backlash I'd receive or support. It was just that feeling of seeing myself on camera being so sick, having those patches of hair fall out, and all the other beautiful things from treatment, and just feeling so weak and looking at myself and seeing a weak person. Now, of course, you guys wouldn't be thinking of that, and you guys are looking at me thinking, no, I don't see you as a weak person, because of course I don't think that way. And that's the same thing for your clients. Your clients don't think of that about you. They don't, pick out your imperfections like a little fly or a mosquito annoying around your face. Of course, there are people like that. So, for example, those lovely, YouTube, those bloggers and those vloggers that judge red carpet people. Yeah, you're there to be seen. Of course, people are going to pick apart and judge how you look. And that's probably the only times that I can think of when someone would be actively picking apart the way you look or the way you sound or, you know, your brains and your brawn. But for every day, for, you know, Australian, American, UK, people who are actively doing their best to serve people, they're not going to focus on those things. They're going to focus on what they can get, gimme, but also how you can help them. And if they watch that piece of content, they'll probably watch another one and another one and another one, and get to that level of trust that you won't be able to do by yourself via 100 image ads. But they'll be able to see you and connect with you and say, oh, this is a person on the other end. Like, I'm contacting this business to get some help with, you know, my plumbing, but there's a person at the other end. So then they're going to connect with you as a human being. Good. All right. Thank you for the love, Ainsley. All right, we're almost there, home stretch. And my voice is almost given out. So we're going to push this forward. All right. I am kind of surprised that my voice is given out this hard because I've been doing quite well and hasn't talked too much today. So then my voice should be fine. But here we are. And it seems really weird because I'm just looking. So behind the camera, just to give you a bit of behind the scenes, I have two large windows from my office/studio that I work here at Creative Geelong. And I can see out there, outside of this area is a almost glass house roof. Atrium is what it's called, actually. And it's just glass up there, and you can see, you know, out into the real world. And I'm just looking out there, and, you know, it's almost 6:45 now. And it's still really bright. It's still light of day. And I'm just like, whoa, because throughout the entirety of winter, the sun would set around 6 or thereabouts. And I'm just like, wow, it is still so bright, but it's so late in the day. And I've been working, you know, since about 8 a.m. So I've been working the entire time. And I'm just like, wow, it is so late, but oh my God. Wow. So I'm just getting distracted by that. But we all focus. We all need to focus, Zoe. Focus. So focusing on. So now we've addressed the fear of judgment and ways of skirting around that, but also pushing past your comfort zone and getting past that point. And we've talked about how people are there for your solution, not your stereotype. But the thing that I want to push a little harder with you now is what you can do to help. So we've already talked about your customers are there for a solution. Now we can talk about how you can go about providing that solution, about providing that value. Essentially what you're doing with your videos is you're going to be providing value. So then people build trust and inevitably buy from you, but of course trust you and your business and brand to buy from you in the first place. So to watch them choose you, you have to address a few things. You have to answer their frequently asked questions. So do you have, as a business owner, any questions that people just always ask you about your industry, the particular job you do? Say, for example, one of mine is video confidence coach. I know how the words work individually, but how do they work for you and your business? That's usually a question I get asked a lot, because the reason why we went with the business name Video Confidence Coach, because video is primarily what I do. Of course, podcasting is there, but I wasn't calling myself the video podcasting coach. Confidence is usually that first thing that people really need, and a lot of people need along the way, because there's confidence in yourself in front of the camera, but there's confidence in what you're doing in regards to strategy, which we do a lot of. There's the confidence of actually knowing what you're doing, and a whole bunch of things from that. And then the coach bit is that I train you how to do it yourself. And yes, I can help organize video content for you, but getting you to do it is the way that it works, and the coaching is supposed to help you with that. So that's how we broke it down for us. But that's a question that I get asked a lot for customers. So can you comment below any frequently asked questions that people have about your industry or about your job specifically, that you feel like you're just sick of answering? And whenever you go to a networking event, or when you meet a new friend, or when you meet someone new and you tell them what you do, you have to answer this question every single time. Well, the best way to get around that is to answer it using a video. Provide that solution. People obviously want to know the answer because they keep asking it. Then you provide that answer to them in a video, silver platter, right there. Simple as that. And as a lot of people have asked, no, you don't need to stick to a specific length in a video, because it's all about the content. It's all about your solution, not your stereotype. So not how long the video actually is. So making sure that you cover the basics in your content. So right now, in regards to what we're doing, in regards to our content strategy, we're covering basics. We're doing a lot of evergreen content that's going to last a long time in keeping up to date and keeping relevant. We've got a long list of that content, and we're covering the basics. We're making sure that we cover the knowledge, we cover the tech, we cover the planning, we cover the aspects of our industry that people want to know about. And we provide that in videos 3 times a week. Live, video on Thursdays, video on Fridays. Sorry, video on Thursdays and video on Saturday. So we provide that content regularly throughout time. And would you do the same thing? Of course, you're not being asked to create a content machine, but say, for example, creating 1 video a fortnight. That's something that you can do. And if you're batching your content, you're able to, sit down for maybe 2 hours a month and record maybe, 4 videos. That's 1 video a week. And you're able to do that within 2 hours. Of course, the videos have to be shorter, but you'll be able to accomplish that in that time. And making sure that you answer those frequently asked questions and putting them in video form. And making sure that you provide that value by answering those questions in the most succinct, simple, and easiest manner for your people to consume. Because, of course, the people that you're speaking to aren't necessarily the people that are going to be watching the video. So making sure that you're nice and clear, that whenever you use terminology, like I have throughout this live stream, that you clarify yourself and make sure that you make it quite clear, or provide the information of where people can go to find out more about it. And just remember one thing that a lot of people do forget. Your customers are there because they chose to watch you. They chose to watch you. They chose to be finding out more about your business, about your industry, because they want to know more. So they're going to sit down and watch a video, or they're going to quickly play and then jump a couple of places because they want to find the answer, but it's because they chose to. Yes, I'm not talking about the billboards that run on the side of buildings or anything that starts playing video automatically on those websites. What is the point? With full sound too? Never. But those places that have those automatic videos that you have no choice in, I'm probably not going to talk about them. But when on your website, or when they're on YouTube, or when they're on social media, they're there because they chose to watch you. They chose to stop their thumb and click play and watch and listen to what you have to say. They have to listen to your solution. So we're all finished for this week's live stream. My voice is about to give way, but we are here to party. So my call to action for you guys this week is to join our video confidence crew. We have a great group of people in there, that a lot of business owners who have been through our workshops and who want to learn more about video. So I post there at least, pretty semi-regularly, and I'm going to be boosting that up over the next couple of weeks of posting almost every week about ways to do your video, ways to improve your video, and ways to do more for your customers. So I'm going to finish off there with the live stream. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me via any of my social medias, or email zoe@videoconfidencecoach.com.au. All good to go. I'm going to finish off here, and I'm going to go catch a bus and go home and nap. Bye!